running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know change gonna come. Oh, yes, it will. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die. I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes, it is. Then I go to my brother.
How y'all doing? How y'all doing this lovely morning? Um, yes, it's been a long time coming. Uh, yes, it has. I've been wanting to do YouTube videos for so long. I mean, God has always put it on my heart, but I just didn't feel like it was time. Well, of course, it wasn't time, and I think everything happened for a reason in the timetable He wanted to happen in. So, I know some of us be like, well, we always miss the mark, or we fall a little short or a little late. So we pretty much just rub it off and just go with what society tell us, and they tell us that when you hit a certain age, that you pretty much have to basically stop living, stop caring, stop feeling useful, and it's kind of silly because Morgan Freeman, if you follow his career, showed us that that's not the case. I mean, he became famous basically in his older age. I don't know the exact date. It's one of them things in my mind don't home me in on. It just focus on the bigger picture. Is that it's never too late. I mean, I don't really care about all the details uh, about his whole life history. I mean, it's just taking up space in my mind. But and I know that goes against what I say. All information is needed and useful, and at some point it will be. At some point his age, which is a number, and the year that he became famous is gonna mean something. But to start a business, to get where you need to get to in life, just on my heart, I feel like that's not necessary. But you're gonna cross over eventually after you start your business and get to a certain level. Like a spirituality. You're gonna need you're gonna find a need for certain things. Uh, like right now, you're using this information to get certain things out of you to put better things in. So basically, to get the bad things out and to put the good things in. So that's the point of my channel right now. I mean, when you finally get to where you have to get to, and you got out like all good things, then you're gonna see the point of numbers and just many different things that you saw before and that you really didn't realize. Like with the ball, every time you look at it, you get a different perspective of it. The ball example I gave you with the ball on the table, and the and how you look at it, and which I can go back to that right quick. I saved it for you. Yeah, people moving stuff around. Yeah, I can't get it. Well, I'll show you that. But let me just. I feel like it's important. I'm just gonna move my whole camera if I try to get that from under there. Well, in any case, so like the ball, you know, hmm, you will look at things different as you become more in tune with yourself, with life, more godlike. and that's the whole goal for all this, is to wake you up, to wake you up to really what's going on in the world. I mean, it's not that hard for me to see, because I've been training my brain to just think outside the box, since I was a little boy. You know, I always look deep into everything. I mean, if you see five kids riding down the road on a bicycle, my first thought is, why are they riding in the lineup they're riding in? You know, I mean, I'm just thinking deep on every level, so I'm not gonna go into every little thought that I have. But the point is to, like, there's no such thing as overthinking, and the more you do it, the better it gets, and you get to see things, and another part of it is, I gotta give credit what credit is due. I mean, come on, I have to give it, I mean, to my mom and dad, because without that DNA, their genetic makeup, I mean, I wouldn't be here. Shout out to my mom and my dad, because my mom chose the right man. And yes, she only had one kid by that man, which is me. But you know, it took both of their mindsets to make someone like me. So I'm not gonna sit here and say, it was a choice to look at the world the way I looked at it. It was just put in me to be that way. I mean, I was born a king. I mean, that's my, I mean, it's in my name. So, but and I know that actually that's something that I think about a lot when it comes to making videos, because I sit back and see so many people trying to make money of getting others, or telling others how to get to the level that they're on. And I'm like, it's I mean, you keep leaving out the part of that, your background. Man, it plays a big part. I mean, not just your background, but your mom and your dad, their genetic makeup, their personalities that mold how you are, or your personality. So, you know, but see, to be honest with you, that's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother video, actually, for another day. And it's not even a story, it's a video, because we need to understand that that is something that society has wanted us to forget about. Our upbringing, and not the upbringing, but what was put in us. I mean, it don't even matter about the upbringing. I mean, how many of us, how many single moms out there, had a young man by the man you was with, and you basically raise your child by yourself, but yet you see that your son, even your daughter, turned into their father without the father even being there and being an influence on them. So you can't deny that that plays a big part. And so, and it kills me at times, because when you become successful, like when a young man like that becomes successful, oh yes, he's gonna always credit his mom for the most part. Even if the father isn't there, is there, and there also, they're still gonna credit the mom overall. I mean, I think it's just a thing to do, but in reality, it makes no sense, because you have to credit both parents. I mean, she didn't make you by yourself. Just because by design, she's gonna be there to raise you. By design, she feel like it's the thing to do. Um, I mean, don't mean that she get all the credit. I mean, you still have to give that father some credit, or both of them credit, because, like I said, she chose that man to, well, man, whether she know it or not, man, she chose him to, she chose to make a child with that man, just to put it simple. I mean, no need to really get deep on it. She chose that man to make a child with, whether she thought about his personality or not. But just the fact that, she chose a great man, mean that more than likely she's gonna have a great child. That's why when you go to a sperm bank, they want to know the history of the man. You know, so DNA plays a big part in how great you become in life. So not everyone is destined to be great. I mean, if you have a mom who hate information, hate reading, and your dad is the exact same way, and they decided to make a child, and that child is you, and you know their personalities, and you like, well, they hate reading, they hate learning, they don't want to work for anyone. They both agree with the welfare system, and they're on it hard, and they just sit back and do nothing. Then, yeah, you're gonna have a hard time starting a business. It's just, I mean, it's just not in you. You know, um, sadly to say, it's it is not in you. So that's why this video is the type of videos are very important because they get you to think outside the box, to think on the level someone is in level, because you know 'cause our mind is no, they're completely different. And like I said, I want you to focus more on your mind and not so much what you see. Um, just see it in your head, basically, not with your see with your mind, not with your eyes. The eyes are very important. Trust me, the eyes are very important. But just see it with your mind first, and then train that, and then just fact check it with what you actually see in life. That's the way I do it. So um, of course, my eyes is what told me back in the days that 80% of the world, I mean, I hate to use this word, but when I was in high school, I realized that 80% of the world is stupid. And that's that whole true to this day. I actually ran across a couple pieces of literature that confirms that. And but but like I said, I hear the statistics or the stats on a lot of things in life, like sports, like that confirms that when you see what's going on in the world and you say, hmm, well, why is that? Why do we love football or American Idol more than we enjoy or love, watching a spaceship go up into space? Why isn't it more money? Well, we put a lot of money into it, but why isn't more airtime given to NASA versus football? And so when you think about that, and then because just like in algebra, I don't know which math it is, algebra, pre-algebra, calculus, all this, whichever one it is, you have to fit in the equation for the problem to make sense, to be able to answer the problem. And so when you punch in the fact that 80% of the world is stupid, then football kind of makes sense. Like, oh, I get why they put more money into football, because 80% of the world like football. They're not so much concerned with the other 20%, because that's not going to make them money. I mean, follow the money. So you factor that into a lot of things, with what you see in this world. You're like, oh, okay, 80% of the world is stupid. So that's a scary number, but basically the stupidity drives the world. So that's a good and a bad thing, though, when you think about it, because that means that the other 20%, are gonna balance everything. I mean, you have to have worker bees. You have to have worker ants. You know, and those are the people that keep things going. That don't know, they have a mind, and as long as you're in the 20%, you can make profit or make money off the 80%. So that's the way you have to look at it. That's how we have to look at it. And if you're in that 80, then jump out, because that's the only way you're gonna start a business. You can't start a business and be in the 80%, because, like I said, you're the worker ant. Then your purpose is to be food. Your purpose is, when I do commercial or put a subliminal message in my videos that your subconscious, that you're not in control of, will make you go out and buy a double whopper with cheese even though you don't want it. It's going to make you go out and buy a fifth TV even though you don't need it. It's going to make you want to go out and say, hey, I want to take a vacation to Vegas. Even if you just don't have the money, it's going to make you want things that you don't need and that's not going to help you get to where you have to get to. And if you don't understand that, then you're going to fall very short. So, not even short. You just can't start a business, and this is what all this is about. It's recapturing your mind and starting your own business to really be free, to get financial freedom. That's why that's why I would never take a vacation. Not well. I'm not gonna say never. I wouldn't take a week or 2 week long vacation. It's just insulting to me. It makes no sense. You're going somewhere paying all this money, about upwards of $8,000 in some cases, to go skipping over some other country, like just skipping from this place to that place to this, spot to this spot to this spot. And after a week of doing all that skipping and spending money and eating all this foreign food that wasn't made for your body, wasn't made for your DNA, you eating all this weird food. In some cases, getting these shots so you don't bring anything in. I mean, after all that is said and done, you come back, to a job that you don't like, that you had to take a vacation from. So it's kind of like killing you faster when you think about it. You're over there, you're just so happy, and a lot of y'all know that feeling. I know you're saying, well, I just want to go see how it feels for me. I'm gonna show you how it feels. This is the way it feels. Friday, 3 o'clock, or five for some people. The buzzer ring, or three hits. In most cases, that when they don't try to put a when you don't have the buzzer systems, 3 or 4 or 5 o'clock hit. All right, so you feel free at that point. Man, you go home, you get to do what you want. Oh man, you feel like a free person, a free man. It's kind of like a vacation. You go home and lay down and like, oh, no one's gonna bother me. That phone's not gonna ring for 2, 2 to 3 days. You know, and you're happy. You're free. You never felt freer. Oh man, that's it's just so evident in life when you understand the mindset of people and how the process work, because I see it all the time. I hear it all the time. There's a guy that lived down the road. Every Saturday or Sunday, he get on his bike and he just he's killing it. He's killing it because, and I get why. Because when you're at your job and you're making all this money, but you got someone over you, they're pretty much owning you, telling you what to do. You lose that sense of freedom. So when you get home and you get that break from the job, that little mini Saturday, it's really a 2 day vacation. It's Friday afternoon to Saturday. You know, basically, well, Saturday, half of the day Friday, all day Saturday, and half of the day Sunday. Because of course, around 3 o'clock Sunday, the realization hit that I gotta go back to work. I gotta get prepared for that. I wasn't prepared to go back to work. Now I gotta go wash my car and get everything straight, and wash my clothes and do this and do that, all the stuff that I didn't do because I was on a mini vacation. Then the depression set in. The sadness set in. The closer you get to that time, you know, the depression set back in. But during those little windows, oh man, it's kind of like you got to go somewhere. You got to do what you couldn't do. you know, all that stuff you couldn't do during the week because you were locked into this job, because you got to get the bread to pay the bills, to keep your kids happy. To do all this to keep your boss happy, to keep your family happy, to keep the looks up. To keep your image up. For your friends, because it's a rat race of who can do it better. Keep up with the Joneses. I get it. So when that guy, he's out revving his motor, I'm like, man, I bet he feels so free right now. He feels so free from his job. I get it. Why he had to just, I mean, cause he go, he go through his whole week being controlled. So he's like, man, I love to be able to control something else. Like I'm in control of my life right now, and I'm in control of this motorcycle, and I'm gonna beat the crap out of it. I'm gonna spin it. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna toss this thing down. It's like, oh, it feels so good to be free to do whatever I want. But he don't do this during the week. He don't do this during the week, but most weekends, and that's what a lot of us do. That's why I say to start a business is the best thing for people because back to the vacation, you know, the best cause you know, I just put it like this, I say I would never take a vacation because when I take a vacation, I want to live in this country that I want to take a vacation in, you know, and but for one thing, just to jump, I mean, I know it sounds like I'm jumping, but just to be clear, when I live there, I will definitely go vegan. I doubt I would eat any meat from another country. I mean, I shouldn't be eating meat here, but I think they're more regulated here than in other countries. Unless they're shipping the meat from here to Jamaica to China and this and that. I wouldn't trust any other regulation, even though I think China is the most heavily like a regulated country. Probably, I don't know, but I wouldn't trust anything going into my body. I mean, my DNA just isn't ready for something like that, and in most cases, the vegetables, same. I mean, the same way. Unless you eat one of those vegetables or fruits that are made to cleanse your body, like lemon water, stuff like that. I don't think you can really hurt a lemon. It's supposed to be like very powerful. Asparagus and stuff like that. I don't really think you can hurt, God medicine. So you probably can add something to it to make it a little stronger, but I think it's gonna still serve its purpose. But a lot of this other thing, like fish, when you don't know what they're pouring into the water, I mean, you don't know what kind of regulations they have on that fish, on the ocean somewhere else. So it's mind-boggling to me, And like I say, you come back after a week and you go back to the basics. It's gonna kill you. It's man, it gonna depression is gonna set in. I mean, you think Monday is bad after having 2 days off. Try having a week or two off. I mean, Monday is gonna be awful. I would think. I would think you would come back being, well, I don't use that word, but I would think you would come back, having an attitude the whole time. So it's very important to, to get that freedom. And it's not really a financial freedom. It's just the freedom to be able to think for yourself. And once you be able to open your mind and do that, you will understand that there's no way to lose in business. There's no way to lose in life. You know, you know, there is a way to become free. And when you have that faith, and when you have that faith in God, it's I mean it's gonna be great. And this is basically what I'm talking to people across the board, all races, because we're all getting lost in this race thing. Not even just in the race in general. I mean, we're all getting kicked out. I mean, we want to think that we're all equal, but in reality, we are. But we're all on different classes, and the upper class is not what it used to be. I mean, like I said, I see it all the way across the board. I don't care how much money you make. I mean, if you can't take off when you want because, for any reason, I mean, you're a slave to the system. I done been on jobs where they done ship someone in like some guy come in, they hire some white guy from another, basically town. That's like 2 hours away. Pay him 2 hours to drive to you, to drive to like to this job to manage people, to manage, blacks and Mexicans. And like I said, it's not so much a race thing, but the way people look at it, like, man, I mean, like they could have hired from hired from within. And they look at this as many different ways and like races, and they get mad and they want to quit and this and that. But man, it's like I said, life is about freedom. If you're free, you look at it like, in a sense of, first thing that pop in my mind is, man, that guy life sucks. You have to drive 2 hours to work every day just to watch people, just to watch over these people with attitudes, and half of them don't like him just because he got the job over them, and the other half don't care about it. Even if he getting paid more money, what are you getting paid for? You're like a little whore to the system. I feel bad for the guy who have to drive that route every day. Even if you work on Saturday and Sunday, you have to get up at 4 o'clock and drive 2 hours to get to work at 6, basically an hour and a half early before everyone else strolls in at like 6:45, 7 o'clock. So how is that great? And after you leave work, you have to drive back home 2 hours. So even if they paid him twice the money I'm making, I wouldn't wish, I wouldn't want to do that job. It's stupid. But I understand why they do it. But what sense does it make? Okay, that's not the point. Of course, it makes no sense. But the point is that how people are looking at it. No one is looking at it like that. Like, man, his job really sucks. They're looking at it like, okay, why couldn't I get that job? Or why is it needed? To be honest with you, most people don't even think about it. They don't even know the details. They can care less. In most jobs, people are just looking to get something better, something better, something better. So, and that's the whole rat race we're in. And bosses know that. They know that most of the workers are not loyal. If you cut their payback 25 cents, they will leave. you know, they would sacrifice a check to keep you open. They're not loyal because they're all after chasing the bag, the money. And that's one thing you have to learn and deal with when you become a boss. It's one thing I realized with my employees, that they didn't care so much about the work and the work I had to do. They just were more concerned with the money. It was more like, okay, how much I'm getting paid Friday, or in my case, I was letting them work as much as they wanted. Meaning that you can work Monday and Tuesday and take the rest of the week off. If you only wanted this little $200, then you take that and run. And they took it and ran. And I didn't see them again until the following Monday. I couldn't get them to work on the weekend. You couldn't get them to work on the weekend. So, you know, but see, you open your eyes and understand how to deal with people like that. And that's easier to deal with when you have a factory setting over what I was doing. So I was working close with these guys. I had to work just as much as they did. So I really needed someone who wanted to start a business and be in business. And so working with someone that's only there for the pay wasn't gonna increase my business and get me to where I had to get to. We would have to be partners and work just as hard. You know, the day after as we did the day before. So, and a lot of them didn't understand that and wasn't feeling that, but they would always call back to see if I had work for them, and this and that. But like I said, that's just because some of us are worker bees and the others are bosses. So there's going to be people who come. So there's going to be a place for them in my business, just not right now. Right now I need a boss. That's what no. So that's what I'm looking for, a boss. And so with that being said, the point of this uh, video here is just to open your mind to understand that business is freedom. You know, and you just have to be ready for it. You have to look at it and understand the change. A change is gonna come. Basically, the more you think about it the better the better your thought process is gonna get, and you're gonna really start looking at things completely different in a boss sense, and then a lot of things will make sense to you. You know, I know, like right now, you're like, well, I mean, why is this happening? Why do we have to be, why do we get laid off for this amount of time? But during the layoff process, they're advertising like crazy. If they're advertising like crazy, then why can't we just continue to work because the advertising is going to bring more money? You know, but once you become a boss, you're going to realize that one thing people are not going to take is not getting paid or a pay cut. You know, it will cause problems. So to avoid them problems, the best thing to do is to lay everyone off during that process. And no one really want to advertise because it costs a lot of money. But if a business is advertising, that means that they're losing a lot of money and they need to get an increase in orders to get their profit back up. So the best thing to do, and like I say, numbers it's a numbers game, and if a numbers and information game. You got to get the information, and the information will provide the numbers. And when you get the information and see that this is happening across the board of other businesses, then you got information. Now we got the numbers, meaning that how many employees do we have to let go to balance out these numbers, and how much advertising we have to put up to get it right. I mean, to get it to where we need to get to. And it's a seasonal thing in most cases. In some cases, it depends on events that happen in the world, and but like I say, they are so in tune right now that they know exactly, like Lowe's know exactly when to lay off or to push their employees out of the door to bring in new employees. And they know exactly like how to do it, because if they didn't do it, then they would get a lot of sad employees, or employees that's talking about them or talking about Lowe's. So you want to make it seem, so you want it to be their decision to walk out, not yours. So it could be yours in most cases. A lot of them really don't care, depending on who. No, depending on the manager. So with that being said, you know, that's the reason why they have to do that rotation, because like I said, it's a numbers game, and to get the numbers to balance out, that's how you have to do that. And I've seen jobs like smaller companies that will ask their employees to sacrifice one or two checks. You can do that on a smaller level, especially if it's a mom and pop company. So when you see them little companies and you're like, man, they only hiring family, that's because it's a smarter way to go. When you someone like Lowe's, Walmart, you got to do a rotation. You got to fire people. A big corporation, you got to just do a lot of fire, period, point blank. But someone like Lowe's, 'cause, people making big money. But someone like Lowe's, you just have to do a rotation in each store and get it pretty much balanced out. In that case, that's how you balance everything out and do some heavy advertising, which is going to increase the money. But you got to increase the money first and then start hiring back. So it's a whole process with all that. But like I said, a little business that got like 20, 30 employees, they can talk to them and get them to, to wait 1 or 2 weeks before getting paid if needed. And most employees will say yes, others say, hey, I need the money, I have to go, and you handle them on an individual basis. So that's easy to deal with. You know. So there's many different levels of how people deal with these, situations. So so yeah, so I done been, in the situations to work at jobs that had like 10 employees, and I done talked to guys who gave up like 2 or 3 weeks of pay just to keep the operation going. But at the same time, I guess, and you know, and these was all like white guys that worked for a white guy, and but he always paid, but I didn't, but he didn't come to me like that. I guess that's the point. Like, and you get that choice. But I guess he felt like I needed my money, but I was the youngest person there, so it could have been that I wasn't making as much as those guys. So I always got my paycheck, but and I, and I was paid pretty well, but they passed up 2 or 3 paychecks just to keep the company going. I mean, I was never asked. I mean, if we asked, I don't know what I would have said at that time, but I mean, I'm out. Like, I'm a team player. I mean, I always understood business. So if it's necessary, then I'm a team player. I'd be like, you know what? Yeah, I pass up. I mean, a 1 or 2. I just need to get 1 or 2 things paid. So if you can just help me out with that, the other 2 checks, like, we're not gonna worry about it right now. We want to keep the business going. We want to keep the trucks moving. So it's all about how you look at it. And like I said, even when I'm working for someone, I'm thinking like a boss, and I'm watching the way that they're moved. Uh, uh, I mean, moving. And that's a lot of problems that a lot of people have. They don't understand the how bosses move. So, that's where we're gonna I guess cut it off at. I hope I didn't jump off topic or lose anyone, because all this information go together. And I would do longer videos for in the future, because I know that all this information is needed, but it's going to be hard to tie it all in. And I'm gonna get more interesting also, as far as um uh my delivery, and because I don't want to put you to sleep you know with these videos, but at the same time it's a lot of this is coming off the dome. This is not anything written down, so it's a lot of information to give. So I'm really thinking about it, just trying to filter it out, filter everything forward and put it in a line where it makes sense. So I hope I'm not, well, I know I'm not being repetitive, but at the same time, all this stuff ties in together, and that's the key. Because we have like short term memories. Like, we forget, like, like, we forget things that happened weeks ago, and it can be shorter. Like, it used to be, well, we remember everything. We remember things about a person, but now no one cares about doing anything stupid, because there's so much stuff being pushed in front of our face nowadays that we're quick to forget a lot of things. I mean, if I don't mention Bill Cosby to you in the next uh, 5 weeks or even 5 days, you'll forget what Bill Cosby did. Bill Cosby can come to your house today and say hello, and you just see him as that, basically just see him as the dad on the Cosby Show, just know him as Bill Cosby. But and you basically gonna forget that, what he did and all the details. In most cases. I mean, I know a lot of people say, "Nah, I never forget," but in most cases, you're gonna forget really quick, and it may come back to you that, did he do something, rape somebody, or did this and that, but no one's gonna know the details. That's how they get away with it. That's how Cardi B get away with the stuff that she do. As far as what she say, because when she make another hit song and everybody love her again, then you kind of like, okay, you forgot that she, you know, raw means and did all this and that. So that's what we're gonna So that's why some of the things are gonna sound like I'm being like repetitive, but it's, I mean, it's necessary. Just stick with me. Like I said, the videos, the lighting is gonna get better. I'm gonna uh just spruce everything up a little bit, and then I may start doing some 2 3 hour videos just to help you understand how to start a business, because all of these steps are just to make you think. So if you don't do anything or take anything from these videos, just think, man, think outside the box. That's the key, is to think outside the box. So we're going to keep it at 40 minutes, and you all have any questions or any complaints or anything you think I need to change, just put it in the comment section. Please, like and subscribe, and like I said, always and forever put God first. I mean, you know, I'm not saying to go out there and just scream it, just scream about it to everyone, because everyone's journey is different. I mean, that's why I don't post and put a lot of God things on my page, because it's not for everyone. I mean, they're gonna have their time and their walk. I'd rather see God in you than hear about God from you. You can talk God all day and night, but if I don't see it in you, then I pretty much keep my distance. You know. So with that being said, y'all have a blessed day, and mm, I guess that's it. I'm sure I'm leaving out a lot of things, but just have a blessed day, and I'll be back later. Thank you. Well, thank you for listening.